Disgraced South Carolina pastor John Paul Miller is speaking out publicly for the first time, addressing the many questions circulating around the death of his wife, Mica Miller. Mica died of a gunshot wound to the head on April 27th. Her death has been ruled a suicide, but that hasn't stopped a chorus of questions growing across the country as friends, family, even concerned strangers wonder if foul play may have been involved. Her sudden and unexpected death comes just days after Mica served John Paul with divorce papers to end a marriage allegedly marred by abuse and infidelity. John Paul has denied the allegations through his attorney, but now he's speaking out on his own, posting on TikTok, of all places, that he has proof showing who really is responsible for Mica's death. NewsNation investigative correspondent Rich McHugh has been following this story since it broke. I'm a little surprised, Rich, to hear that this is what he's chosen to do and how he's chosen to speak out.
Yeah, it raises the question, why now, some 6 weeks later? Why on TikTok with this really short 1-minute clip? He's doing it, he says, to disprove all the lies out there in the media. Take a look.
I'm looking forward to presenting over 350 pieces of proof.
It's the first time we are hearing from John Paul Miller. This, a video message he shared on TikTok.
On what Mica thinks about her family and what Mica thinks about her lawyer and the things her lawyer's saying and the things that her family's saying. And you're going to be shocked at some of the things that you see that Mica says. And we're going to find out actually who is responsible for my wife's death. And Mica will have justice when it's all said and done. And I'm going to make sure of it.
I have repeatedly asked for an interview with John Paul Miller. Previously, he told me, I have never once in my entire life ever heard her in any way, ever. Mica's sisters, meanwhile, say in court filings John Paul Miller abused Mica and point to incidents like this.
Walk away.
I'll show you the pictures.
Weeks leading up to her death, she was getting all of the paperwork ready to expose him. She was prepared for something bad to happen to her. So I think that is what we should really be looking into.
They say the fact that she spent 20 minutes at this gas station is just one clue of many.
I believe that there's a very good possibility that she was lured to that area.
I do not think she took her own life.
What do you think happened?
I think that she was told to be there.
They say Robeson County Sheriff's Office didn't do a proper investigation.
They didn't want to know about any kind of trackers, about any kind of past problems that she might have had. The kayaker and the fisherman, they didn't do any proper interviews on them or think that they might have been any kind of suspect. They only looked at John Paul. From what they have told us, they just cleared him immediately because of his GPS tracking.
Today, his family is pleading with higher authorities, state police, the FBI, to take this case from Robeson County Sheriff and look at it as a homicide, not a suicide, Elizabeth.
All right, Rich, he said he has 350 pieces of evidence about who killed her, but he doesn't say what the evidence is or who that person is?
I expect that this is going to come out in an affidavit in the next couple of weeks that he is submitting to a court. And we will also probably have the chance to interview him at that time.
So I'm
assuming it's going to be emails.
And he's saying it wasn't suicide?
Documents. He has said from the start, from all that I gather, he told his congregation that it was a suicide. And I suspect that's what he's going to come out and say and continue to say and say, here's the proof. His family says obviously otherwise, or her family says obviously otherwise.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.